Now, I've been consciously practicing these distinctions over the last 18 years, and they've determined my attitude, my actions, and my analysis as a leader. Okay, last week we looked at the first leadership distinction. 100% is possible 100% of the time, and I said that was the most powerful distinction because it's a distinction of possibilities. It's a distinction of a dream of possibilities. 100% is possible 100% of the time. Okay, good morning GP, morning Josh, morning May. Good to see you all on board. Okay, so today I will discuss the second leadership distinction, which is, if it is to be, it is up to me. Okay, if it is to be, it is up to me. Now, at the outset, this looks like one of the prices that you have to pay for leadership. You know, you get a title like this: if it's to be, it's up to me. If it's to be, it's up to me. It's like you got no choice. Like the buck stops here. You know, I pao ka liao lah. You know, actually, as I share, you will see that this is not a distinction of restriction. It's a distinction of freedom. Now, most of you will immediately see this as habit one: be proactive. Means I am responsible, and that's the first step in leadership, your personal victory or your personal leadership. It's actually about two extreme roles. Okay? First of all, being a leader. Leadership, because it's proactive, it's about making a choice. It's about taking the lead and not waiting to be told. Okay? So it's a want-to, not a have-to. And that's where you have the saying, where there is a will, there is a way. There needs to be a will first because you will find a way. Okay? So the first role is that of a leader, and the second role is that of a servant. So a servant takes charge because there is a need. Okay? So that's how things start, because they see a need, they start, they take charge. Or a servant cleans up at the end. There's a finish. So you have the start and the finish. So I guess, you know, it's a self-reflection for us, for me definitely. Is there a willingness to be treated like a servant? We all like the idea of servant leadership, you know, but when we're treated like a servant, how do we react? So that's something that requires a lot of practice, and something that I'm continuously having to practice. Okay. Now remember, in habit one we said that responsibility is the ability to respond. Okay. So for things to change, I must change. You've heard that before. And all the blessings of life are actually available to us this very moment, right here, right now. And the choice of how good we choose to make our lives is up to us. Okay? If it's to be, it's up to me. So it is really up to you to make your life a masterpiece. Okay. Now, what are some attitudes and actions? I think you will recognize this. I came up with this list, so I was thinking about this yesterday. What are some attitudes and actions? You'll see that someone who practices if it's to be, it's up to me, will grab that opportunity. You know, they will see that the cup as half full. Okay. They will develop initiative. They will make things happen rather than react to things that happen. And of course, there's going to be this practice of being comfortable with being uncomfortable. There's going to be stretch. And one thing that will happen when you become responsible is you will stop being a victim. And life is much better when you don't feel victimized, when you feel in control. You'll be the first to apologize. You'd be the peacemaker, even though you are not the one at fault, maybe. And everything is going to move faster. Your organization growth, everything is going to move faster because you're not hesitating for that other guy to start first before you start. Okay, if it is to be, it's up to me. Now, just a note: if you're a coach and you're a maker of leaders, okay, when you are developing and delegating to people, developing people and delegating to them, don't rush in to take over. Okay, because you say if it's to be, it's up to me. No, that's the role you have to do, to actually watch them, learn from their mistakes. Now I want to read to you something from this blog called Sales Guru, okay, about this topic. Okay, let me read to you. Okay, if it's to be, it's up to me. It's one of the best pieces of advice I've ever read. It's brilliant because it is transformational. It doesn't mean that I have to do all the work. It doesn't mean that everything falls in my lap all the time. It doesn't mean anything so negative. What it means simply is that because I'm able to look at situations from the point of view of my role, responsibility, and influence, I rarely feel the need to blame others. I don't blame the traffic for my lateness, because I can tell you honestly, almost every time I'm late for something, I know full well I should have left earlier, almost every time. I don't blame my people for poor work, when the responsible for it being excellent is certainly mine. I don't tend to blame very much at all. The reason for it simply is that I love, crave, need, adore the freedom that comes with being able to accept that most things in my life are actually within my control. Yours too, I'm sure of it. Taking that control back begins when you find yourself saying, this person hasn't done XYZ, or that person did XYZ wrong, and you stop yourself to ask, what was my role in this? Okay, let me repeat that. Taking that control back begins when you find yourself saying, this person hasn't done X, Y, or Z, or that person did X, Y, or Z wrong, and you stop yourself to ask, what was my role in this? Now, when you practice this distinction, who do you show up as? Or who am I when I practice this distinction? Okay. I'm accountable. Okay. I'm accountable means you can count on me. Okay. I'm reliable. I'm trustworthy because I honor my word with actions. Habit 2, remember, begin with the end in mind. I want to be known as someone who honors his word with actions. Ownership, I take ownership of the situation. In 48-hour training, we talk about not blaming others. If I'm the boss and phone call comes, my secretary is on leave, what happens? I will answer the phone call, even though that's her job, because it's my business. Okay? Who am I? I'm someone who creates clarity, because what I declare, I will do. People are clear about that when I declare something, I will do. And in unclear areas which are not defined, sometimes when you take a ready, fire, aim approach, you really haven't spelled out everything. In unclear areas, in areas that are not defined, people know that I will step in because I'm in and fully committed. And then people get clarity about what they expect from me. And remember, who I am is who I will attract. Remember, leadership is not just about someone at the top who's very good. It's about someone who's got people, a team. Okay, so you will attract a team of people like this. So this proactive attitude, if it is to be, it is up to me. It's not just the top leader's distinction, but really everyone's way of being. And imagine having a team of people like that. Now, in network marketing, I think this is a crucial attitude to your income. Don't you think so? Okay. People mistake MLM to be like traditional employment where only those on the top, earn more. Many people think in MLM, those who come in first, those who sponsor you earn more. But if that's the case, why do extra? No, in MLM, people are rewarded for their efforts, and downlines can earn much more than their uplines. There are many examples of this. Okay, now I'm told, especially by Patrick, I don't know whether he's listening to this call or he'll watch the replay, but he says always tell a story. So let me share with you a story, a personal story. After being a commanding officer of an elite guard battalion, I was promoted to become the brigade second in command, okay, the brigade 2IC of a guards brigade. Now, a guards battalion has around 700 men, and a brigade has about 3,000. I don't know, I couldn't, but 3,000 to 5,000 men. Okay, okay. Different size altogether. Now, in a battle, the brigade commander leads what we call a tactical HQ and the whole main body, the whole brigade, to the front to engage the enemy, while the brigade 2IC actually stays back with what we call the rear HQ to monitor the battle. So I found myself, from being the king of my own force as a battalion commander, I was now the backroom boy. Actually, very sian. And I actually feel very vulnerable because I'm way at the back there. I'm a combat man, but I'm at the back with all these non-combatants. Okay? And with all this big equipment that is hard to move. I want to run also, I cannot run. Okay? And, you know, in the days of communications, you got this big communications antenna making all kinds of noises and all that, and they're deep inside the enemy territory. It's like I'm asking the enemy to come and have a Christmas feast on me. Okay. So, but the Brigade 2IC is actually very important because he is the second in command, and he must support the battle from the rear, okay, ready to move and reserves from the rear. He must be ready to move forward and take over the brigade commander if the brigade commander is killed. So even though the Brigade 2IC is far away from the battle, he's trying to keep as quiet as possible to avoid detection. He must be completely on the ball, because if it is to be, it is up to me. Now, during an exercise, we have two sets of controllers. Okay, so one set of controller is following the main body, following the brigade commander, and there's another set following the Brigade 2IC in the rear HQ, because there are two different types of operations they're evaluating. But I found out that many years later, at some functions, I found out that actually I had the reputation as the Guards Brigade 2IC that could not be found by the controllers. In one exercise in Australia, you know, I deployed the huge rear HQ so effectively and so silently, operating for hours so silently that the controllers couldn't find us. And what made it extra special was the fact that my chief controller was the deputy chief guards officer, who was a real commando colonel, not one of those scholar types, a real commando colonel, and he couldn't find me. Okay. I realize now, as I look back, at that time, I practiced, if it is to be, it's up to me, even though the focus was on the brigade commander. Now, it's not often you get a set of 10 two-letter words to form one whole sentence. And no ordinary sentence, but one which has the power to become a life-changing philosophy for you, for me, and for all of us. If it is to be, it is up to me. Just say it to yourself, believe in it, and see the difference. Okay, let me talk about our business. Okay, my organizational sales volume in July was 25% higher than in June. And this month, August, is already 27% higher than the same time last month. And I heard there are others out there who are having an even greater growth. So what is your result so far? What is your result this month so far? Results are your friend, and they tell you how you are playing life. Okay, how you do anything is how you do everything. So you have 8 more days to play your new skin game in August. What an opportunity to practice this leadership distinction at the start of this week. If it is to be, it is up to me. Okay. Practice this and get a good chance also to get one of the age-lock boosts that will be allocated to rubies in September. Okay, because Wiswan and I, we've got 20 sets and we're going to give it to those people who have performed well in August. Okay, so go practice this powerful distinction. If it is to be, it is up to me.